Catherine de Medici, the scent of power. She was called a witch, a murderer, a foul-smelling queen. But behind the legend of Catherine de Medici was a woman who ruled France with invisible hands and a deadly mind. Get ready to discover the real story of the woman who turned perfume into power and gossip into strategy. Catherine was born in Florence in 1519, heir to the most powerful name in Italy. But the prestige of the Medici family didn't stop her from being taken hostage during a popular uprising. She spent years locked in convents, surviving political chaos like someone learning to play chess with their own life. Her uncle, Pope Clement VII, arranged her marriage to Henry of Orleans, the second son of the French king. The goal was to strengthen the alliance between Rome and France. The deal only went through after the tragic death of the rightful heir, Dauphin Francis, who suddenly died of a fever after drinking from a contaminated spring. While other girls were busy with embroidery, Catherine was reading treatises on astrology, politics, and medicine. Her tutors raised her to be a king's wife, but unknowingly created a cold and brilliant strategist. At just 14, she was sent to France. Her father-in-law, King Francis I, didn't want her at court. He once said he'd prefer a princess with more gold than wisdom. Catherine, orphaned and without a fortune, was just a pawn. But fate, and the death of the Dauphin, put her on the main board. The French court was a minefield of intrigue. Catherine lived in the shadow of Diane de Poitiers, the king's official mistress. She was ignored, humiliated, left out of decisions. But she didn't react. She watched, as if calculating the exact moment for the strike. In 1559, King Henry II entered a jousting match to celebrate his daughter's wedding, but a splinter from his opponent's lance pierced his eye. Catherine, who until then had been a decorative piece at court, stayed by his bedside until the end, and there, in full view of the kingdom, she rose from silence. With the king's death, Diane was removed, and Catherine took the reins of the kingdom, not as queen mother, but as the architect of France's destiny. After Henry II's death, Catherine wasted no time. She banished Diane from the palace, seized her property, and forced her to return the crown jewels Henry had given her. The mistress, now old and powerless, was sent into exile in Annette. Catherine had claimed her first revenge. For years, Catherine was humiliated for not conceiving. They called her barren, cursed. She drank potions, consulted astrologers, and underwent rituals. When she finally became pregnant, she never stopped. 10 children, each born with blood, fear, and isolation. Of her 10 children, only 3 survived to adulthood. Catherine watched Francis II die young, Charles IX die at 23, and Henry III be assassinated. With each burial, she lost a piece of her power and of herself. After Henry's death, she became a regent, but the court still called her the Italian. She had to silence bishops, bend nobles, and negotiate with both Protestants and Catholics, all without showing weakness. With her sons either too young or mentally unstable, Catherine ruled in truth. She issued edicts of tolerance, allied at times with Catholics, at times with Huguenots. She arranged marriages like a master moving poisoned pieces across a chessboard. Then came 1572. Paris drowned in blood. Thousands of Protestants murdered. The blame fell on Catherine. She denied it. Historians still debate it. But one thing is certain, no one dared question her influence again. Diplomats vomited after meetings. Some fainted. But Catherine knew. Incense and musk commanded more than armies. Her presence was impossible to ignore. Her absence lingered in the air. She consulted Nostradamus, kept grimoires, had alchemists at her disposal. She crafted unique perfumes, believing each one held mystical protection. It was science and superstition, and it made her feared. By 60, her body was falling apart. She had lost children, allies, and the people's respect, but never her voice. She was carried, wrapped in lavender-soaked tapestries, open wounds hidden beneath layers. Yet she still led councils, ruled ceremonies, dictated France. Even sick, she refused to die. She said she still had plans. But in 1589, she finally succumbed. The French Revolution would later destroy her tomb, but not her name. They called her corrupt, impure, but she held France together for 30 years without ever lifting a sword. She used words, fragrances, politics, strategy. She outlasted 6 popes, 3 royal sons-in-law, and countless plots. She brought ballet to France, brought astrology to court, made fashion into political language, built a network of spies. And still, her name became a joke. Maybe because she won. She didn't stink, she unsettled, because she was smart, controlling, relentless. And the world never knew what to do with a woman like that. Catherine de Medici, the scent of power and the smell of truth. Like, share, and subscribe for more stories that rewrite the legends.